It's news time. Information is power. Be current. The news headline: Buhari won't release Kanu. Uzuku declares blast Igbo political leaders. The news in full. The spiritual head of Soul Revival Outreach in Newi, Anambra State, Bro Ike Uzuku, says that President Muhammadu Buhari is not really ready to release the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, Mazi Kanu, who is currently detained by DSS in Abuja. Uzuku, a fiery prophet, stated this in Inewi on Sunday. He said that Buhari would not free Kanu, contrary to expectations of early release of the leader of the secessionist group. Uzuku declared that it is the next Nigerian president who will take over from the incumbent in 2023, where he had stated that this will actually free the Ipob leader. He, however, said that no amount of intimidation will stop the agitation for the freedom of Kanu. He is passionately committed to concluding the journey which Chief Emeka Ojukwu started in 1967. Kanu has been consistently speaking about marginalization of the Indigo in the geographical expression called Nigeria. Kanu has assumed the leadership of the Indigo because the political leaders, rather than talk about the evils being perpetrated against their kith and kin, decided to play the ostrich by keeping quiet in the face of unprecedented injustices against Igbo nation. Whoever that underrates the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra will be doing so at his own risk, he stressed. Uzuku said that the smartest thing Buhari would do is to toe the path of reason and allow Kanu go home in peace. A lot of criminal elements have taken charge and advantage of the insecurity in the southeast, committing all manner of atrocities, killing, kidnapping, and stealing. Kanu must be released so that he can address the people who are seeing him as a reigning, undisputable Igbo leader. He, however, thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for the second Niger bridge, but Indigo deserves more than that. He called for compensation and apology to the Igbo youth who have been in detention for over 15 years only to be discharged and acquitted recently by the Federal High Court in Abuja. An international investigation into the cases of intimidation and harassment of judges in Nigeria will meet the highest international standards and best practices and assist the Nigerian authority to take steps to improve respect for the independence of the judiciary, the rule of law, and access to justice for victims and human rights. If not urgently addressed, the attacks, intimidation, and harassment of the judiciary will render judges unable to defend the rule of law, to provide accountability for the many gross rights violations in the country, or to protect the rights of the Nigerian people. Nigerian authorities have taken a legal obligation to take measures to protect the independence of the judiciary and ensure the safety and security of individual judges. SERAP urges you to visit Nigeria to carry out a mission to investigate cases of intimidation and harassment of judges, assess the independence of the judiciary and the rule of law, and to continue to monitor the situation. The proposed visit would help to support the efforts to bring Nigeria's justice system in line with the international standards and free of political interference. Nigerian authorities continue to fail and also to thoroughly, impartially, independently, transparently, and effectively investigate cases of attacks, intimidation, and harassment of judges, the very people who protect and guarantee human rights, while the Nigerian authorities have arrested some of the suspected perpetrators. At least 10 more persons reportedly involved in the assault on Justice Odili are still very large. Independence of the judiciary is enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution of 1999 as amended, and under human rights treaties, including the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and the African Charter on Human and People's Rights to which Nigeria is a state party. The attack on Justice Odili is not an isolated incident. There have been several violations of judicial independence and the rule of law in the country. In 2016, for example, Nigerian authorities reportedly invaded in the middle of the night the homes of some judges of the Federal High Court and justice of the Supreme Court. The authorities have so far failed or refused to identify those suspected to be responsible and to bring them to justice. An independent judiciary is essential to the protection of human rights and respect for the rule of law. The principles of independence are the hallmark of the rationale and legitimacy of the judicial function in every state. Their absence leads to denial of justice and makes the credibility of the judicial process dubious. It is the principle of the separation of powers, together with the rule of law, that opens the way to an administration of justice that provides guarantees of independence and transparency. As expressed in the Bangalore Principles of Judicial Conduct, judicial independence is a prerequisite to the rule of law and a fundamental guarantee of a fair trial. According to our information on Friday, October 29, 2021, some people claiming to be soldiers and policemen invaded the Abuja home of the said Justice Mary Odili, and the perpetrators identified themselves as members of the government joint task force and used a fraudulently obtained search warrant to attempt to gain access into Justice Odili's residence. The perpetrators claimed they had information that illegal activities were going on in such residence, and that was why they went to invade the house of the Justice Odili. And this intimidation and harassment has actually been questioned, and therefore Sarah, who happens to be the special rapporteur on the independence of judges and lawyers over vicious assaults of Justice Mary Odili, had actually took their time to say that this is an intentional act by the federal government of Nigeria to deprive the judicial system of their freedoms, and therefore this poses a great risk to the independence and authority of our judicial system, which will put all Nigerians' freedom at risk if care is not taken. Thanks for listening.